Hello and welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to do a different type of video today, and this is going to be on 5 ways to invoke your dark feminine energy, but subtly. And I was inspired to do this video by Blunt Girly. She did a video on how to not give a fuck. And I wanted to make that more like a romance type of, scenario. And I just wanted to give you guys some advice that has worked for me. Some of this might be a little bit toxic or Machiavellian, if you will. But I did get some of this stuff from the 48 Laws of Power, the power of seduction. But some of this stuff is just from trial and error and what worked for me. So if you're into stuff like that, sit back and enjoy. So essentially, this is all about using your shadow to get what you want. And if you're not, on good terms with your subconscious and your darker desires, your darker instincts, you're never going to be able to convince someone that you deserve them because you don't believe you deserve them. So you definitely want to leave with that energy of entitlement. I wouldn't use it too much because it's the subconscious. So it's basically like 10% of the iceberg versus everything else. But what I like to do is just know that I'm worthy of certain things. I think when you walk into a room and know that you're worthy, and this isn't just relationship, you can use this for business too. There are people that won't settle on a certain pay rate. They'll know that, no, I'm worth this hourly rate. And, people would like that initiative in you and give you more versus if you try to just get by on not feeling entitled to certain things. So I like to play this up with men. I know guys talk a lot of shit about like gold diggers and stuff on the internet, but in real life, they're not doing that. Men, they have this impulsive trait to take care of women that know that they, deserve that type of treatment. Now, you don't have to be like a spoiled brat about it unless you're really comfortable with the guy and he knows that's like your MO. But I would just be like more princessy. Like if you want princess treatment, you kind of have to be a damsel in distress. And that's going to bring me to my next point. Never appear too perfect. Now, this is also from the 48 Laws of Power, so this can be used in any scenario. But when it comes to men, they have a hard time helping a woman that they feel like, quote unquote, doesn't need their help. You kind of have to, you don't have to like emphasize yourself or anything, but you do want to have something that makes you vulnerable, something that makes you, needing their protection or needing their extra support and needing their extra attention, if that makes sense. And that way you can get what you want without ever really having to ask for it because this person is already anticipating that you need it. So that's definitely one of my favorite things to do. Another thing that I like to do is to be a bit of an enigma. Now naturally, I really don't have to work too hard for this. I am kind of polarizing. I think I did a video on how to be polarizing as well. But with men, I obviously play this up because I feel like men, they have this thing where they try to interview you and put you in a box, and I'd never give them the opportunity to do that. Like, I will just, I'm really good with conversation. That's why I enjoy making these videos and stuff. And I feel like you should never give someone 100% of you. Never respond to the same thing the same way you did before. Like, be, unpredictable in a way. And naturally, when it comes to my ideas on politics and stuff like that, I'm pretty like on the fence with a lot of things. I have like a lot of gray area. I'm not a definitive person, if that makes sense. I'm not an extremist. So it makes me have like an air of mystery around me where men will tell me they can't figure me out. And it's really just all part of the game, honestly. Another tip that I have is to be a bit of a novelty. Marilyn Monroe actually did this. When she went out to places, she always showed up, made a perfect entrance. Her company was good company, but when it was time for her to go, she left. Now, naturally, I am an introvert, so this is really easy for me. But if, let's say, you're a public figure or you're an extrovert or something, you can be, expressive online and stuff, or not be expressive in person. Or you can do the opposite. If you're more like a people person, you can be expressive in real life, but then have like no social media or something like that. Like, you got to find a way to balance your privacy and your allure and your mystery, if that makes sense. I think that naturally, when someone is a little bit more withdrawn or hard to reach, or, you don't have to be completely standoffish or anything like that. But they always say that absence makes the heart grow fonder. So just try to think of that. Don't always feel like you have to overextend yourself in any way, because that definitely ruins seduction. So another tip that I have is, and this is also from I don't know if it's the 48 Laws of Power or the Power of Seduction is one of those, but one of the tips is build a false sense of security. Now, let's say if you're a guy trying to seduce a woman, women obviously like to feel safe. That's probably like the biggest aphrodisiac you can give a woman, for her to feel safe with you in every single aspect of the way. So if you're a woman, you kind of want to do the inverted version of that and make him feel unsafe. Now, I don't know what it is. I think it's called vasopressin. They say there's some type of hormone or something in men where if you activate that, that's what makes them fall in love with you or something like that. But for women, I do believe creating a false sense of security is a great way for seduction for men to get women. But if you're a woman trying to get a man, you kind of want to do the opposite. You want to create a sense of insecurity. Like, I don't know. It could be anything. It has to be like a Romeo and Juliet situation where we want to be together, but we can't, you know? Like, you never want to feel like. Now, obviously, if you're married or something, this is different because you've committed to this person. But if you're just, flirting, dating, playing a game, this is a good way to, like, get someone to want to be all in with you in a way. It's very toxic. Like I said, it's going to be very toxic. But a lot of men, they prefer the chase. And that doesn't mean that if you are married, the chase stops, because this is going to go into one of my other tips. And that tip is, don't give yourself 100%. This doesn't mean have secrets or lie about anything like that. But as a woman, certain things are private. Certain things you just keep to yourself. And if your partner already knows everything there is to know about you, or you give him like your entire life story on some trauma dump shit, it kind of ruins like the fun of, you know, unfolding layers to get to know someone and understanding the depths of them. You know what I mean? So even if you are married and you plan on being married for the rest of your life, which is beautiful, don't rush it. Take time. Keep up with yourself. It doesn't have to be withholding information. It can be, maybe I started going vegan a week ago and you didn't even notice. Just little stuff like that. Like, just because you're doing something doesn't mean you have to tell it to the whole world. It's nice to keep things to yourself so that people can go, oh, I didn't know that about you. Little stuff like that. It keeps, interest when you feel like maybe this person isn't paying enough attention to you or something like that. But yeah, I don't know how many tips that was. I think I said I was going to do like 5 or something. But I actually do have a couple more if you guys want some bonus ones. So this is probably my most toxic one. And you don't want to do this like literally. Like, there's a way to, insinuate something without flat out saying it. Get what I'm saying? That's like another thing that I notice when people give dating advice. They tell you what to do, but not how to do it. And I like to have this mindset, especially if you're just dating and you're playing the field and you're not like in a serious committed relationship with this person. Always make that person feel like you're their home, but never be afraid to leave. And I'm not saying once you made a commitment, you gotta have this type of mentality. It just switches to, I choose to be with this person, but if they don't meet my expectations and I give them a chance to make right and they don't, then I will leave. Because a lot of women, we think that in a certain scenario, we would be able to just get up and leave. But let's say if you have children or you have a business with this person, it's a lot easier said than done. So if you already have that in your head that this is a standard for your life, regardless of what this person does or does not do, it just gives you a sense of power. It gives you a sense of like self-respect. You know what I mean? And you got to be willing to do that. Whether you're 10 years into a marriage or on a first date, you have to have the mindset of, I'm able to walk away from this. I can do better than this. I don't have to put up with this. And guys are really good at, when they seduce, they're really good at like, making you comfortable and stuff. And comfortability can cause cycles where you get stuck doing something over and over with someone, but because they made you comfortable, you keep going back to them. You don't want to do that. You want to be able to know that no matter how great things are going, you're willing to leave when you're not being respected. And that's a lot easier said than done when you've already invested into someone, which is why I said never give yourself 100%. So a lot of these tips fall back on one or the other. And I think if you take all of them, if you haven't already been doing this, it'll definitely improve your love life. So my final tip is emulate archetypes that tap into the type of energy. Now, again, you can do this with anything. You know how they say dress for the job that you want? That's emulating an archetype. So when it comes to relationships or just a guy that you like, you can do that. And I think one of the I want to say it was Robert Greene that wrote the book. One of the tips that he used was Cleopatra. She would dress up as the Egyptian goddess Isis and like seduce men and stuff like that, because she was known as the goddess of beauty and love and fertility. And you don't gotta dress up like Cleopatra or anything like that. But if you are an exotical, you can tap into, what your phenotype looks like, play up your ethnic looks, anything like that. Anything that makes you feel connected to your version of the divine feminine and makes you feel more, comfortable. I would suggest you tap into that. But if your partner does like certain things, why not have fun with that too? So I hope you guys enjoyed my tips. This was really fun to make. Thank you and have a beautiful day.